I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire.
Welcome back. Cindy Dole here, Home Wizards, where we love to talk about all the things to help you enjoy the spaces you call home. And that means to help to keep you safe, because we've been watching that awful, awful fire in Arizona, the second worst in history over there. It's still burning. And as we enter our wildfire season, summer through the fall, it's a good time to plan ahead, I think, and remember what we need to do to keep your home, your family safe, inside, outside, from the garden to no matter where you are. And with me is a guy who knows all too well, Captain Ron Oatman with the Ventura Country Fire Department. So thanks for being here, Captain Ron.
Yeah, and that's Ron Oatman.
Oh, I'm sorry, Oatman. Thank you, Oatman. So tell me, Captain, you probably are watching this Arizona fire and have been seeing these families nervous to not only leave, but then nervous to go back to their homes to see what's been damaged or destroyed completely.
Yeah, that's a good point. People doing the right thing getting out, but returning is always a scary thing from the standpoint of what do you have left. What we really try and push is a program called Ready, Set, Go. And that's basically, the ready part is just what we're doing right now. You kind of prepare yourself by knowing what's going on, knowing that we live in a wildfire area, and what can we do to help prepare our home. And then the set portion of that is during higher than normal danger days, like red flag conditions when the wind's blowing and that kind of stuff. We take a few extra steps, and we're prepared to actually evacuate before there's actually a fire. So if there is a fire, it doesn't surprise us. We know where we're going to go, what we're going to take with us, how long it's going to take us to get there. The family's all on the same page for the plan. And then the go is just that. You evacuate either when you're in danger, when you feel you're in danger, or when an evacuation order is given. But as far as the being scared to return, we would like you to do as much as you can under that ready portion, this stuff now. Hardening your home is what we call it, to make your home as standalone as possible to where it can survive the fire as much as possible. That, along with the firefighters that are going to be out there trying to save your home, is going to hopefully make the difference. But if not, when you left with a plan, so you took your most valuable possessions with you. You took your finances, you took your pictures, you took the stuff that cannot be replaced with you. And if worse comes to worse, you have that and you have your lives.
Absolutely. Well, let's break down some of the different things, starting with the design, the construction of, let's say, your home. What about our rooftop? What kind of roofs do you like and you don't like?
Yeah, that's a great point. Roofs are the most vulnerable areas because it's just a large landing zone for embers. What we found is that fires, when we have the Santa Ana winds blowing, fires can blow embers up to a mile away from where the actual fire is. So neighborhoods that aren't directly exposed to the flames can actually be threatened, and a lot of that is by the embers landing on the roofs. So we definitely want a flammable, resistive roof. Something like composition or tile are good starts. But the other thing is we need to routinely clean those roofs. We have the rain gutters, we have the valleys of the roofs, so we need to get up there and at least once a year, maybe even twice, and when the winds start blowing, maybe do it again, get up there and get that leaf litter and stuff off of the roof. So even though we have a flammable, resistive roof, when those embers land, there's nothing actually for it to light on fire.
Okay. What about the chimney?
The chimney, that's a great point, too. Any of the exits or entrances into the home, vents on the side of the home, the chimney would be the same thing. We want a spark arrestor on there with 1/8 inch mesh. And we want that when the chimney's burning, we want that to keep the embers from blowing outside of the chimney. But on a Santa Ana wind condition or when there's fires blowing, it's also going to keep embers from blowing inside your home through the chimney.
Good. In terms of residential sprinklers, is that something that you recommend that we do? I know that they can be kind of expensive, but maybe it's worth it?
Well, when you're building new construction, depending on the area you're in, you may be required to put sprinkler systems in your home. And that definitely is worth it from a standpoint of putting fires out. Usually those are a little more designed for when you have an internal fire inside the home, which are common that we get what we call a structure fire, that something has happened inside. As far as the sprinklers, if you did get a fire that was caused from a brush fire, then it is certainly going to help that too. But usually the fires that are started from a brush fire are because of little hidden spaces. And that's where we want to protect it with that mesh, with taking the leaf litter, any little things on the outside of the home that could catch on fire to begin with. because the sprinklers wouldn't be in those hidden spaces normally anyways.
Mm-hmm. What about our front door and our windows? Are there certain choices that we could be making to, again, kind of slow down a fire?
Yeah. Well, the number one thing we like to push is that you can do a lot of stuff for your home without spending a lot of money. And most of that is just kind of landscaping stuff. So starting with our defensible space, we want to really make sure that we have 100 feet of defensible space around our home if you're right up against the wildland area. And if you're not, you still want to go through, clear your dead vegetation, take your bushes and your trees and do what we call lollipopping them, where you basically clear the branches off the lower lying area. So if you had some ground fire, it can't come up and carry the fire up into the higher parts of the branches. And like I said, a leaf litter on the roof, just some real basic, rolling up your sleeves and getting dirty kind of thing can be done. Then if you are going to invest some money in your home, that's where you can look at what you're talking about. What is your siding? Is it stucco or is it wood siding? Does that wood siding have little hidden holes that embers could get lodged? You would want to replace that if you're looking at investing some money anyways. If you're going to be doing some window upgrades, then go to one of the places to get online and do some research, and usually the dual pane windows are going to be the best, because sometimes if a window is exposed to fire, that window can actually break as a result of the heat from the flames, and now the wind pushes those embers and the rest of the flames inside. So the dual pane windows help protect from that. And then the doors, normally our exterior doors are a solid type of door anyways, but again, we wouldn't want anything that right up against the door, like plastic patio furniture, when trash cans are alongside of the home, stuff like that. When we're in that set part of Ready, Set, Go, we want to remove any of that stuff that we would normally have. Maybe you have a wooden bench outside your home, which is great most of the time, but on that high fire danger day, you may want to take that flammable bench and move it away from your door, away from your windows.
And while we're talking about doors and windows, I mean, you're driving around the community and you see so many of these apartments that have those security gates over the windows, and then you hear the horror stories of the people who weren't able to get out.
Yeah, you know what? That's always a catch-22 from a firefighter standpoint. We don't like those bars because when we need to get in to help save somebody, they're in the way. But at the same time, those bars are there to keep people that they don't want to get in from there. So we do have means of getting in if we have to, but it does hinder us. So it's not a recommendation that we would necessarily recommend somebody not having those, because there's a whole other series of reasons you would put them on in the first place.
Okay. How about just making sure that our electrical wiring and everything has been kept up to snuff, that we have the proper maintenance and repairs so that doesn't create like a secondary problem if there is a fire that's approaching our home?
Absolutely, yes. And when you go into basic home safety, even without the wildland, the part of it, if you're just going to do a basic home fire safety inspection, that's one of the first things we look at. We teach the fifth graders when we teach them fire safety to go around, and are you overloading your circuits? Have you done wiring that hasn't been up to code? There's a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there, which is great, but when it comes to stuff like electrical, you really want to make sure that the right person is doing that and doing it properly, because you can potentially basically pull too much electricity through one area, which is a heat source.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then what about making sure that fuse boxes and any of those, the breaker panels, that they're installed and maintained the right way, too? Yeah,
absolutely. You want to make sure that the right person is doing that. But what we see most of the time when we have a problem with that is if you've had, let's say, a breaker that continues to what they call trip or open up to where you're losing your electricity. Some people will go out and actually put a piece of tape over that or lock it, or even screws sometimes to keep that from tripping, instead of just getting the proper breaker and replacing it or calling an electrician to come out because that breaker's probably worn out. They'll override that safety feature with tape or with a screw or something like that. And again, now we have that heat source continuing. So usually it's something like storage in front of the electrical boxes, which is a heat source. Or if we need to get to that electrical box, we can't get to it because there's been too much storage in front of it. Or somebody trying to override a safety feature.
Mm-hmm. And here we are in barbecue season, and I'm sure you're going to tell us to make sure that we have our propane tanks away from any, definitely away from shrubs, but where else should we keep them away from our home structure, keep them into a side area?
Yeah, that's a great point. Any type of, we don't want to have too much propane stored. The normal barbecue has either a constant source, which you can turn on or off, or it has a 5-gallon propane tank usually attached to those. When we're in the set portion of the ready, set, go, like I was saying, we're in a higher fire danger, and we're anticipating possibly evacuating even before there's a fire. That's the time that we would want to actually take those, store those inside an area that wouldn't be exposed to a fire, inside of a metal shed, inside of a garage, something like that. But either way, you wouldn't want it right up against the home.
Right.
And then in general, anything with barbecues, we really just need to use the common sense. That's a large heat source. When you first fire up the barbecue, all that heat is contained where it's supposed to be. But now you add the grease to it, you start getting grease fires, and it can come out and catch the side of a wall on fire very quickly.
Okay. Well, hold that thought, Captain. We're going to talk a little bit more with Captain Ron Oatman with Ventura County Fire and get some more fire smart tips as we approach the fire danger season here in Southern California. And as we keep an eye on those fires in Arizona, we want to make sure that you have your emergency water supply and that you know how to respond and to evacuate and to keep that yard safe if, God forbid, there is a fire that's trying to approach its way toward your home. Home Wizard Cindy Dole here. The number is 888-539-2980, and we're back right after this. Yeah, we're talking safety here because it's all part of the big picture. Cindy Dole, Home Wizards, and this is what we do every Saturday from 2 to 4 to help you. All things home, garden, and life improvement. So thanks for hanging out with me this Saturday, along with Captain Ron Oatman with the Ventura County Fire Department. Thanks, Ron, and boy, you're helping us already get a little smarter, but there's so much to remember. Do you think that right now that most Southern Californians really have an evacuation plan for a fire?
Well, you know what? I can't speak for most, but I would think that we're all a little bit complacent.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all want to do the right thing, but it's easy to say, yeah, we better prepare for that. What we see sometimes, when we get let's say we get a little earthquake, you'll see a lot of people run out, get more earthquake prepared, which is a good thing. But then if we don't get any earth movement for a long time, we tend to get a little complacent.
Mm-hmm.
So we're constantly trying to push this. The key is to be prepared. If you find that you prepare yourself for something, we're talking wildfire safety today, but if you really did the homework and did the right stuff to prepare yourself for that, you're going to actually find that you're more prepared for just about anything. If you have an evacuation kit, then you can use that kit for other stuff besides wildfires.
Mm-hmm. For earthquakes, for anything.
Yeah.
And what is your great rule of thumb in terms of water and other supplies to keep in that emergency kit at home?
You know what? We don't reinvent the wheel. Through our stuff, we recommend that you go to like the Red Cross website, and any evacuation kit that are recommended they've done the homework. They've done a lot to that. So we recommend whatever the Red Cross recommends.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, there's so much to remember in that, and so we do refer a lot of it to websites. There's constantly check sheets that you would be using.
Mm-hmm.
What you do find, again, with the complacency is if you did take some time a few years ago to prepare all this, maybe somewhere along the way you needed some water for the home and you remembered you had some there and you took it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to kind of just check on it every now and then.
Oh, do you ever? My husband and I, we went back to our kit, and it turned out we had left it there it hadn't been updated for a few years, and you forget, you lose track of time, and the water wasn't good anymore, the food was terrible, I mean, it was unedible, and basically we wasted some money. We had to throw that stuff away, start from scratch, so now we have it on our calendar. In January, we're going to check it, because really, the stuff really is only good for a year, maybe 2 if you're lucky on some of the different things.
Right.
Yeah. So let's get back to, in terms of the exterior of the home and the landscaping part. I mean, you hear about people getting fined if they don't clear the brush from their home. Is that still going on, and what should we be mindful of?
Well, here in Ventura County, we have what we call our Fire Hazard Reduction Program, or we used to refer to it as weed abatement. From a firefighting standpoint, we look at it as defensible space, and that's where we require you to clear 100 feet around your home if you're up against the wildland area. And if you don't do that, then we will come in and do it for you, and you'll get billed for that. Mm-hmm. And there is a administrative fee that goes along with it. Fortunately, here in Ventura County, we do have very good compliance. Like I say, I think most people want to do the right thing, but they tend to get complacent. So because we have such a strict policy on it, but we will also go out. We'll come personally do an inspection. If you do the work, we want more. We'll come. We'll talk to you. We'll explain the reasons. We try and educate you as much as possible. So that with that personal attention and people wanting to do the right thing to begin with, again, we get very good in compliance.
Are there certain plants that you know of and that you would like us to choose over other trees and plants that are just completely, like a Christmas tree, they go up in flames, that we should be thinking about in addition to clearing some of the brush in terms of just having maybe a more fire-safe garden, if there is such a thing?
Yeah, that's a great point, and I don't know the names of all the different plants. Certainly pine trees here in Southern California normally aren't real native to the lower areas of Southern California, and we see a lot of them right up against homes with branches right over the top. So
like eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is really bad.
Eucalyptus, yeah, same thing. The cypress, or what they call the evergreens, those can burn quite a bit. So the key is, if you do have them, if you can't part with them, then just keep them trimmed as much as possible. Make sure you don't have any branches within 10 feet of the house itself. Certainly, if you have anything over top of the home, that's contributing to that leaf litter and the debris that collects on the roof that I was talking about having to clear. So it's a lot of common sense with that. And then again, we would refer to websites. If you are going to put some money and you are going to do some new landscaping, then you can refer to which ones that are a little more drought resistant, a little more fire resistant. But really, the key is to get out there at least once a year and just do that maintenance. Pull all the dead stuff out, do the lollipopping like I was talking about, space them to where they're not all grouped together. If we can use gravel for ground cover whenever possible instead of the wood chips, that certainly helps, because the wood chips is a source for embers to land in and turn into more embers. So we don't want to turn your whole property into concrete. We just want to use as much common sense as we can and do as much as we can to where, again, when we leave that home in an evacuation, we feel that we've done everything we can. We've taken our most valuable possessions with us, and we're going to leave it to the work that we've done and to the help of the firefighters to save our home.
I didn't even think about those bark chips, and we have our entire garden is covered with them because it's a great mulch. But now you raise a great point. We should be thinking of gravel.
Yeah, again, if you were looking at doing some work anyways, then we would recommend the gravel. It's not like we're recommending everybody go out and pull all their wood chips out.
You're not going to find me.
We do want you to recognize that it is a source.
Yeah,
you can only do so much, but again, if you were going to be doing a major landscaping project around your home anyways, at that point you may want to look at, do I want to replace that bark or not.
Now, I know you guys in Ventura County have an event coming up next Saturday, and I wanted you to tell everybody about that, because folks who are in the area might want to attend to again learn some more of these things.
Yeah, this next Saturday at the Home Depot in Simi Valley, and we'll be sending out a press release and advertising it a little more. I don't think it's actually even gone out yet, but from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock there in the parking lot at the Home Depot in Simi Valley, they're going to be allowing us to come in and set up a fire department presence to push our Ready, Set, Go program that I was talking about. And then we'll also have some funner things for the kids. And then Home Depot themselves will be doing some demonstrations, some do-it-yourself type of things that are in the same type of process. Do-it-yourself, how to make your home more fire-safe, and how to do it, some products that they have available for you. And there'll also be an insurance company out there talking about their issues for fire safety. So it should be a fun event and informative at the same time. And the Ready, Set, Go program that I continue pushing, we'll have brochures, we'll have DVDs available, and there'll be actual live firefighters out there to discuss.
Now, are there any new gadgets or tools that just have come out this year that really impress you that you've seen in the stores or whatever, whether it's a great new smoke detector or some other thing that can help make our home be a little more fire safe?
You know what? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. The smoke detector, like you mentioned, that is an amazing tool. For a $5 item, that is the number one thing that you can do to keep your home, your family safe. In the evening hours when you're sleeping, that's going to give you the earliest warning sign. If you have something, we've all burnt toast and had our smoke.
Oh yeah.
So, but you can see how quickly that'll go off. So if you did have a fire in the middle of the night, how quickly that's going to warn you and allow you and your family to safely get out before that fire really establishes itself.
So have one in every room, basically, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
And then a fire extinguisher. Have one in the kitchen, one maybe in the bedroom, one halfway in between?
Yeah, and if you do, again, if you go to the website, you can stop by any firehouse and pick up brochures on all this. But if you started and you went through and did a home fire safety inspection, one of the first things they're going to have you do is make an escape plan, so you know how you're going to get out of your house in the case of a fire. Obviously, our first option would be going right out the front door. The smoke detector goes off, we see some smoke, we go ahead and exit the home, call 911, and let the firefighters come in and put the fire out. But along the way, if you had a fire extinguisher at the exit, an adult realized, okay, that's a small kitchen fire, I've got my family out, we've called 911, the fire department's on the way, I'm going to go ahead and attempt, I know where my exit is, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to put this small fire out.
Okay.
And that may work. And then if it gets over their head, they simply go back out the exit and wait for the fire department.
Thank you so much. That's Captain Ron Oatman with Ventura County, and we'll be sure to check your event next Saturday. Thanks for helping us with some great, smart fire safety tips, all right?
Thank you.
All right, well, coming up as we work our way into the second hour, we're going to talk about ways to enjoy your outdoor space with some fun pots and some great statuaries and water devices to create that sound of trickling water. And then what about feng shui decor to improve not only your well-being, but your love life? Home Wizard Cindy 2, Hour 2, coming up next.
Walk with me.